Roll me, Mac.
What's a mistake you've made that you've learned the most from? Putting 100% trust into someone with your life as well as your happiness. I've learned from that because as living on this earth has proven to me, I've learned to live long enough to see that people are human. And I mean everybody. Everybody's human, all make mistakes, all got flaws, all got insecurities, and put in a position to where I gave them a power that wasn't meant for them to have. I believe that's probably the best way to describe it in my mind, looking back on a lot of stuff. And, I truly attested to more than likely a sense of, let's say childhood trauma, maybe, like trying to find a reliable source of care, love, emotional support, and all that shit. I would say is probably the case and such, because you keep going towards personalities that mirror instability. You're not alone. Just know that if you believe you've done that, if you believe you do that, you're not alone. It's not any of those people's fault. They did the best they could with what they had, and it's just so unfortunate that that's the dice that was rolled for you. I mean, we're not responsible for what happens to us. We're responsible for how we respond to it. So I look at those things and be like, you know what, man? All right, I'm gonna take the same test until I pass it. And then just when you think you're ready to move up to the next grade, here comes the same test one more time to show you that, all right, well, let's see what you learned. You'll make a different decision when you get tired. When you really get tired of it, you'll make a different decision. But I invested a lot, like the idea of people. And when they spoil your illusion and show you how human they are, there's this sense of like gas let out of the car. Your balloon, the air in your balloon has been released, and you're stuck with dealing with that person for what they actually were in real life, not so much in your imagination of them, man. And it's disappointing. Expectations can be very disappointing. And no one's responsible for your expectations but you. And that's really it. Everybody else is being who they are. Whoever they were meant to be in that moment, that's who the fuck they are. That's who the fuck they were. It's up for us to accept and deal, or accept and move on. And a lot of us, out of fear, accept and stay, and still complain about the same old shit. Or you finally decide to get the courage to move on and see what life will be like without them. Like, to lose the attachment idea of your mind of them, the attachment of them in your mind, losing that idea so that you can press forward and have what God and the universe has been trying to give you, but you were still holding on to the past. And that's why you don't fly. You don't fly because you're anchored down, and you weren't supposed to be attached to anchors. You were supposed to be aligned with the sail. Somebody that's going to push you forward. Someone that doesn't hold you. You feel like somebody's holding you back. Like there's this emotional pull on you that you keep staying with it because of fear. You fear abandonment. You fear what's on the other side. You fear being in a worse situation. You fear not being loved when you are already loved. There's nothing empty. You're not incomplete. None of that. You're not broken. It's just you. You are love. And sometimes your love doesn't align with another person's love based on where you're at, or based on where they're at in their lives at that point in time. But let situations happen. We will turn and point the finger at us because of ego. Our ego believes that everything that's going on around us is because of us. And, I can attest that to it, like I said, to a trauma response of being responsible for other people and things like that when you weren't responsible for that. We are literally playing one-player games. We are doing, it's like third person. It's like a third person video game. Everybody got their own view, and decisions are going to be made, and they don't always align and match up with yours. And it's tough because you created this storyline. You created this fairy tale. You created this idea of what this person, how they're ever going to fit into your life. And you live long enough, a human will show you how human they fucking can be. And forgiveness is one thing. Forgetting, I don't think so. You tend to remember a person's character, myself included. And again, we're all human. We're all flawed. We all do we all do things that necessarily people wouldn't be approved of. They wouldn't think it was appropriate or what have you. But all in all, the decisions we chose to do it. That's just the acceptance of it, man. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges of life. At least I find for myself, is just recognizing, like, damn, man, there are people that do things that they simply feel ashamed to do because they feel like they won't be accepted for it. So they wear masks. They wear a lot of masks. And how cool would the world be if we just accepted everybody for what they do? Then there's having like boundaries. Then there's that battle between that. It's like, I want to be able to like have that acceptance, but I also have boundaries. So it's like trying to find that fine line in between having healthy boundaries and also just taking a person for exactly who they are. But I mean, deciding where you want to put that in your life, I believe that's where the boundaries come in. But just sitting back and looking at the situation, and is it my fear talking, or am I coming from a place of love, or am I coming from a place of fear? Rather, with this situation, do I make this about me? So to put that total trust, like that 100% trust in another human, for me, I found to be a mistake for myself, and then learning that I'm strong enough. Don't get me wrong, we're social creatures, and don't be afraid to ask for help and all of that shit. I do get that. But a power that will become very vital for me in my life is to self-reliance and focus on the power of things that you can get done by yourself. A lot of times we have that childlike response to when we get faced with a challenge, and we'll turn to what we deem to be like a parent, if we had that option, you know what I mean? But a lot of us are stronger than we know. And what we can do is turn to ourselves, look within to heal, look for guidance inside. I think when we quiet the noise around us, that's when we're able to speak to God in the spiritual world and find direction and just be calm. You're not gonna make a great decision when you're anxious as fuck. That's what I've definitely learned that on many occasions throughout life. But if you allow yourself to quiet the mind, to meditate, to sit in silence, deal with your silence. That's another thing. That's a lot of us find it challenging to sit in silence, around people in silence, But I believe that's where the universe speaks to you. And grateful for that voice, grateful for that spiritual voice, not that negative voice in the back of your head that tells you you're a failure, you're not good enough, you're not able to do this, you're not able to do that, but that one that's just calming and just at peace and keeps you grounded. I think that's the gist of it all, is finding that voice. But yeah, what I've definitely learned, my mistake was that I learned from the most would be to put 100% of trust into another human with my happiness as well as my life. Calms you down when you're angry? Silence. As I really just mentioned on the previous topic, but silence. Silence is something that is golden, and separating, like detachment. That's another thing that calms you. Like when you detach from ego. Detaching from your ego allows you to just be and observe and not attach like, this is me, I'm angry. No, I feel angry. That's the detachment right there. So I feel anger, and emotions pass like clouds, So it's just to remember to observe the clouds above us, but to not absorb what the emotion is. To say that I am angry, I am sad, I am, because we're casting spells. Anything after I am is essentially what your brain believes. So I feel anger, I feel upset, I feel pissed off, I feel this, you know what I'm saying? Whatever that is. But to really be like, you know what? I'm angry as fuck. I'm mad as fuck. You made me mad. No. I don't have that kind of power over you to where I can make you mad. I think your expectations of me might have made you mad because I did something that you didn't necessarily agree with your beliefs, or of what you believe is right. So you wanted to right the situation yourself. You wanted to retaliate in some form or fashion. But no one has the power to make you mad. It's really I don't believe that anyone has the power, not anymore at least. I used to, but I don't believe that anyone has the power to make me mad. Anger is a choice response in my mind. So if I allow you to get to me, I gave you permission to do it. I gave you permission to offend me. I don't want to give away power, but I recognize how powerful I am. you know, and that's not on bragging shit. That's just understanding like your function as a human, the powers that you innately have is that you control what you respond to. You control what gets to you. You protect your house with everything. If you don't open the window, that person that's trying to yell and send that venom to you, they're not able to get in. The COVID can't get in the house. You know, that's why you don't entertain it. You don't go near it. You avoid the unhappy and the unlucky. You don't deal with people that see, that always look on the negative side of things. You know, you deal with those who speak in positivity. You don't deal with people that talk like victims. You deal with people that encourage others, that share victor stories, not victim stories. You know, just showing that you can overcome. That it's all right to feel things aren't going the way that you wish they are, but knowing that you have the strength and the mind power to overcome and get past that somehow, some way. Just to endure. Just know that you got the power to endure is phenomenal to me. I believe that's phenomenal to have that. But yeah, you know, we do have people around us that just look at things in a negative way constantly, and this is draining. You know, and find yourself how you feel around people. And do you feel drained when you finish talking to people? Or do you feel empowered? Do you feel like free of life? Like you feel like joy? Like, damn, man, I just had a great conversation with that person. I look forward to the next conversation. Or is it like, man, I'm glad that shit was over, bro. This motherfucking draining. All she do is talk about, you know, the negative shit. All he does is talk about how horrible his life is. And you know what I'm saying? Like it's, you decide, you got to decide how you're going to look at life. We all get life. We all been given cards to play. Some of us were born into families that were healthier than others when it comes to mental health. Some of us, not so much. Some of us were born into families that were better with money, a little bit wealthier. Some of us, not so much. Some of us came into a family that was, you know, very gifted in like music or entertainment or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Do art, various things, you know. No life is greater than the other. It's all about how you play it and what you're willing to deal with and your ability to just be. And a lot of us don't know how to be. We know how to talk about the past. We know how to hang on to the past. We know how to try to prevent things from happening in the future. But very few of us know how to be in the present moment. And that's where I believe that's where a lot of our issues come in. And for somebody like myself who lived in the past for a very, very long time throughout my 20s, it caused a lot of issues with relationships around me, intimate relationships, the inability to commit, inability to get closer to someone because of that fear of something, you know, going haywire and stuff like that. So you're just trying to protect yourself because you feel like you're all you got. And survival mode was kicked in. You know, I wasn't living in love, I was living in fear. And survival mode is a bitch. But we thrive on it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us thrive on living in survival. We just do what we can to get to the next checkpoint. It's like a kid, you know, playing Outrun or a racing game at the arcade, and you don't think you're going to make it to that checkpoint for just one more quarter. Just get me right there, and then I'll just roll from that, you know. But, you know, I believe like when you learn to live in love, the quarters are endless. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't worry about making to a checkpoint. You're fine. You have faith in that. So, you know, just try to do my best to live in love whenever those old emotions come up of like survival mode or living in fear, just being able to sit with said emotion and try to press forward. But yeah, when I'm angry, I like to distance. I shut down. I distance myself, not so much not in a negative way, but just so I do not blow my fucking top because of suppressed anger, mismanaged anger, the inability to use that emotion. I don't trust my anger. I guess that's that's a one way of putting it. Scary, but yeah, I don't trust my anger. I do what I can to try to manage it. So that's something that is a constant like a work in practice is managing anger and what to do with it. But to just to remain calm, because I don't believe people care enough, right? I don't think people care enough for me to be so fucking angry, and I think that'll make me angrier because no one has to respond to your anger. No one has to cater to you. Yeah, you're upset, but you're choosing to be upset. And if I remain indifferent, it goes back to sender. So you being pissed off at me, it's like being a customer service rep for whatever company. We hear that shit all the time. You feel better? It's like this person doesn't care. So I don't like to wait. Once I recognize that a person doesn't give a fuck, one, I tend to not deal with you anymore. And two, I'm not gonna kill myself trying to get you to validate my my anger, my emotion, because you've clearly shown that you don't give a fuck. And when I know you don't give a fuck, I disassociate. I keep my distance, and I'll live over here where it's calm. You know what I'm saying? Like, but truthfully, I just like to remain calm in chaos. So whenever I find myself angry, I will shut the fuck down. And outside, depending on who that individual I'm engaging with, they might perceive it as, like something negative, but it's really the best answer. Like, a lot of the Buddhist monks believe, and what they practice is the best answer to anger is silence. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. Just breathe. Do not speak. When you're angry, do not allow yourself to make a permanent mistake on a temporary emotion. So it's like, all right, count to 10, count back from 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That brings you to the present moment. Little small tricks like that. Breathing out your anger too. Meditation helps with that, and just breathing exercises in general. But like I said, I just do what I can to try to stay poised. Calm minds make better decisions. So I sit with my thoughts a lot. I sit with my thoughts a lot of times before I do my best to do that prior to making a decision on something. I do my best not to make an emotional decision. But I will disassociate. I will sit with myself and then regroup, and then try to come back and make a sound decision with what I've thought about. So when I'm what calms me down when I'm angry, silence. Underrated quality of a parent to you: being able to listen without judgment. I believe a very dope quality to have, like, for those parents that are like that with their kids, where they will listen unconditionally. Obviously won't take disrespect, but allowing them to express how they actually feel on something, and being able to discuss that with somebody that you love the most. Your parent. I think that is a definitely underrated quality to have, like truly showing that unconditional love for your kid, to where you don't believe you have everything right, you don't have it all figured out, and that you are eager to listen to what that kid has to say. I find that to be a very underrated quality as a parent. You get them so much further and question, like, why would our kids go out into the world for answers because they didn't feel safe they could get them at home. And that's a lot of times we can be dismissive because we're holding on to a label of parent to child versus actually relating from human to human. I believe we're all guilty of that at some point in time, or have been exposed to that, have it done to us, or we've done it to our kids. But I truly believe an underrated quality for a parent to me is to just listen unconditionally and truly love unconditionally. What's the first thing you notice about other people? I notice their energy, whether it's anxious, whether it's safe, whether it's calm. That's kind of like the first thing that I gather when I'm around said people. I know that I'm around a lot of people with insecurity when they're constantly looking for validation. And validation in ways of like they have to fuck with you. You know what I mean? In my opinion, this is just for me. This is not a right or wrong thing. This is just my perspective on said insecurity. Secure people don't fuck with people. You know what I mean? And like in the sense of like trying to tear them down. I believe that's pain. I believe that's people projecting. Like secure people are fine with their own realm, they can engage with you without having to make their problems your problems. So when I'm around people, I can feel that, and when I feel that energy, I get away. I don't want to be around people that want to make me responsible for their happiness. Where in a sense of just because you say this joke and you think it's funny and you tell me the joke and I don't find it funny, and then you get upset with me because I didn't laugh at your joke. I just didn't find it funny. I don't, what I'm saying? To me, that's no different than me making a food thing, a food item that I will eat, obviously. But I try to bring it to you and you don't eat it, and then I get upset because you didn't eat my food. It's not necessarily about me. It's about that person's preference. And I like to live in a world where you can have preference. You don't have to agree with something because it's popular, because everybody around you is doing it. So, I kind of feel that's kind of like the first thing I notice when I'm around people is just that energy. Energy won't ever lie to you. I don't care what a person says. Their energy, their energy speaks so loud, man. And it's so funny to see people that really think that you don't know where they stand with you. But their energy will tell you everything. The energy about them will tell you everything, man. And I would call it a gift of the spiritual world, where you know that energy where people really like they really get down with you, or if they have a sense of intimidation, or if they're afraid of you, or if you're afraid of them, that energy will show. Those insecurities come out. Silence brings out insecurities in a lot of people. But I say the first thing I notice, just the energy with that, and when somebody's genuinely happy to see you, and then when somebody just tolerate your ass, it's funny. It's funny to see them use that people pleasing, right? For them to use those people pleasing tendencies they've taught and mastered over their life, and then try to engage with somebody that they really don't fuck with. I mean, I'm sure we've all worked with people, we've been around people, got people in our family, literally might have been talking about you the right before you walk in the building or in the area. And then here's the smile about them or even about you, but you really don't get down with them like that. I like to believe that I've trained myself to, if I really don't get down with you, I don't necessarily have to be mean about it. I just don't engage with you. And once I know something about me, once I feel like a sense of not betrayal, but there's this energy about you that shows that you're not the most trustworthy, distance, and you won't see that same person that you met initially. It's going to come with a boundary, a healthier boundary behind that. And I say nothing lasts forever. So to see it up close, to recognize the energy of others, and not take it personal. It's not to take anything personal. It's just observation. Literally, just mainly observation to when you're in a room with people and knowing how to move. Like if you're in a place where you're not really wanted or desired, it's okay to remove yourself from it. Because what's the point, really, of being around people that don't necessarily value you? That's my big thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, to be around people, like, it's so different when you're around people that genuinely want to do things with you, that care about things that you think and what you're into and your interests and all that shit. And then the other side where they just see you as a decoy, backup. You know what I mean? Like you don't really exist, and they don't care to include you in things. You're just there, and it's such a different feeling. So for me, I just prefer to be around people that value my presence. You know what I'm saying? Value having the conversation. Value the silence, and you feel the difference too. Like when somebody's like into you in silence, and when somebody is distancing themselves from you in silence. So, like, to recognize that energy, it'll be so clear to you, because energy will never lie to you. Like the shift that you feel when you're around said person, and sometimes it can blindside you. It can blindside you where it comes from, that energy, but I say stay with the course. Stay with the course of bettering yourself. Stay with the course of just being on top of things in your life, focusing on whatever goals you have, practicing unconditional love, but not unconditional tolerance. Create healthy boundaries with people. Don't put people on pedestals. Don't run away with the idea of people in your mind, and live in the present moment, right? Live in the present moment. That I believe those things have helped me a lot in those, like I said, in those scenarios. So yeah, like that, again, the first thing I notice about people is their energy that they bring. I don't have, like, as far as the clothes you wear, yeah, you can pick up some things from it, you know what I'm saying, but you're not defined by your clothes. I firmly believe that, for me personally. Now, as far as societal, yeah, your clothes do tell a story about that, you know what I'm saying. If I wore a cop uniform, people would think I'm a cop. That's just how we're wired to, and programmed to believe. But just because I'm wearing the uniform doesn't mean I'm a cop, if that makes sense. As the Dave Chappelle joke, was, that he used on Killing Me Softly. Very funny stand-up, by the way. But I firmly believe energy will tell you everything about a person. How, again, how calm they are, how anxious they can be, how defensive they can be, how they take things personal, and whether or not they feel safe. And I pride myself on being able to allow even people I don't even fuck with to feel safe around me, because I don't care. Honestly, I don't care enough to make this space about me. Like you have to earn your way out around me type stuff. No, I won't. Yeah, you do your own thing. Just don't fuck with me. I believe there's a way of existing where you can have your world and your beliefs, I can have mine, and it doesn't have to intertwine. It doesn't have to overlap. I don't need to criticize the way you live your life because I have my own. I don't look at my shit as, right and wrong. I look at just a perspective of how I live my life, man, and do my best to try to allow others to be themselves, man. Don't get me wrong. When it comes like to dating and shit, I got a frame to maintain, and there's certain behaviors that won't just be tolerated, especially if you want the benefits of said frame. That's, mind you can be whoever you want. But in order to get into this club, there's a certain behavior to be had, and nothing out of the norm. And in my opinion, it's nothing out of the norm. It's just more so that cooler heads prevail, being, emotionally mature, and not really drawing attention to oneself. You'd be surprised what you can get when as I'll say for women, what you can get when you trust said frame, when you allow yourself to feel safe, when you allow yourself to be in your natural form of femininity, I would say especially around me, because there's nothing I would want to do more than to protect you. I believe that's my divine purpose of being born as a man, is to protect not just a woman I'm seeing, but also my family, and then anyone else within my tribe, as to protect them. But if indeed you carry yourself in I say disrespectful manner, you don't get to keep that benefit. That's not how that works. You know what I mean? It's like I said, unconditional love is not unconditional tolerance. I can love you from over here and let you continuously do whatever you're doing that I find to be detrimental to what I'm working on. If it's a distraction from the purpose, eventually I'm going to recognize it, and then I'm going to have to remove myself. You know what I mean, from the situation, so that we can keep moving forward. But essentially, what I'm saying is, you recognize the energy. Opposites attract. So I gear towards like I said, the feminine energy, the calm energy, the nurturing energy, the safe energy. That chaotic shit, man, that's late teens, high school, and early 20s. I don't really fuck with that shit no more, man. You can miss me with that. But first thing I noticed is energy. But anyway, that about wrap things up here at Ask Rome YouTube series. Thank you guys again for tuning in to each episode, but more importantly, tuning into this episode. Big favor I would love for you guys to do, just from watching this, go ahead and add the TikTok. At the beginning of each episode, there's a screen that shows the QR code that you can scan to get to the TikTok, just to follow that. For the clips, if you want to check out just like the single clips and stuff like that, or follow, obviously subscribe to YouTube, follow, like if you're watching this on Facebook, go ahead and follow the show for more content. More things are coming, a few changes I'm working on, presentation wise, and even some different features of the show. But I'm Romy Mac. This is Ask Rome, and I'm out. Good night, kids.